Welcome to last video of two video series. If you have not watched video 1, I would encourage you to please go through it today. Now we will delve into advanced topics in direct taxation, particularly focusing on questions that can arise during interviews. This session will not only cover potential questions, but will also provide you with solutions and tips to answer them effectively, especially in the context of international taxation. Let's start with a critical area that often comes up in interviews, the concept of tax residency and its implications for tax liability. You may encounter a question like, how do you determine the tax residency of an individual in India? To answer this, you should begin by outlining the criteria defined under the Income Tax Act, 1961. An individual is considered a resident in India if they meet either of the following conditions: they are in India for 182 days or more during the current financial year, or they are in India for 60 days or more during the current financial year and have been in India for 365 days or more in the preceding 4 years. It's important to emphasize the significance of understanding residency, as it impacts the individual's global income tax liability. Residents are taxed on their global income, while non-residents are taxed only on income earned or received in India. In your response, you can also mention the implications of the residency status for expatriates, particularly how they can be taxed differently based on their residency status. A common follow-up question might be, can you explain the concept of the tiebreaker rule in the context of double taxation avoidance agreements, DTAAs? This question allows you to showcase your understanding of international taxation. In your response, you can explain that the tiebreaker rule is a provision in DTAs that helps determine the residency of an individual who is a resident of both countries. The criteria typically include the permanent home, the center of vital interests, habitual abode, and nationality. By highlighting this, you not only demonstrate your grasp of the technical aspects, but also show that you understand the practical implications of these agreements in preventing double taxation. Next, let's discuss a frequently asked question regarding tax planning. How would you approach tax planning for a multinational corporation operating in India? For this question, it's essential to demonstrate a strategic mindset. Start by stating that tax planning for a multinational requires a thorough understanding of both domestic tax laws and international tax regulations. You can outline a structured approach. First, assess the corporation's business structure and the nature of its operations in India. Then, consider the implications of transfer pricing regulations, which require that transactions between related entities be conducted at arm's length. You can also touch upon the importance of utilizing available DTAAs to mitigate withholding taxes on cross-border transactions. Discussing the need for compliance with the General Anti-Avoidance Rule, GAR, can further illustrate your awareness of the regulatory landscape. Lastly, emphasize the importance of continuous monitoring and adaptation of tax strategies in response to changing laws and business circumstances. Another critical area that often comes up is the understanding of tax incentives. A potential interview question could be, what are the tax incentives available for startups in India? In your answer, you can highlight the benefits provided under the Income Tax Act, such as the 100% tax exemption on profits for 3 consecutive assessment years for eligible startups under Section 80 IAC. Additionally, discuss the importance of the DPI, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, registration, which is essential for availing these benefits. It's also wise to mention the tax holiday for units in special economic zones, SEZs, and the deductions available for investments in specified assets. This not only showcases your technical knowledge, but also your understanding of the government's initiatives to promote entrepreneurship. Moving on, let's consider a more complex question that could arise. How would you handle a situation where a client is facing an income tax assessment for a previous year? This question tests your problem-solving skills and your approach to client management. Start by explaining that the first step is to review the assessment order in detail to understand the reasons for the assessment. You should also advise the client on their rights, including the option to appeal the order. Discuss the importance of gathering all relevant documentation and evidence to support the client's position. You can also mention the significance of maintaining open communication with the tax authorities and exploring the possibility of a settlement under the Income Tax Settlement Commission. This response not only demonstrates your technical acumen, but also highlights your ability to manage client relationships effectively. Now, let's pivot to international taxation with a focus on withholding tax. An interviewer might ask, what is withholding tax and how does it apply to cross-border transactions? In your response, start by defining withholding tax as a tax deducted at the source from payments made to non-residents. Explain that it applies to various payments, including interest, royalties, and fees for technical services. You can then elaborate on the implications of DTAAs in this context, emphasizing how these agreements can reduce the withholding tax rate. Discuss the importance of obtaining a tax residency certificate, TRC, to claim the benefits under the DTAA. This question allows you to showcase not only your technical knowledge, but also your understanding of practical applications in international business. Another advanced topic that may come up is the concept of controlled foreign corporation, CFC rules. A question could be, what are CFC rules and how do they affect Indian residents with foreign subsidiaries? In your answer, clarify that CFC rules are designed to prevent base erosion and profit shifting by taxing income earned by foreign subsidiaries controlled by Indian residents. Explain that if an Indian resident holds a significant stake in a foreign company, typically more than 50%, the income of that foreign company may be subject to tax in India. Highlight the importance of understanding the implications of these rules for Indian residents with foreign investments, as it impacts their overall tax liability. This question provides you with an opportunity to demonstrate your knowledge of international tax compliance and the complexities involved in cross-border taxation. As we wrap up our discussion on advanced topics in direct taxation, let's not forget the importance of keeping abreast of recent developments in tax legislation. An interviewer might ask, how do you stay updated with changes in tax laws and regulations? Your response should reflect a proactive approach to continuous learning. Mention various resources such as tax journals, official government notifications, webinars, and online courses. Highlight the importance of networking with other professionals in the field, attending seminars, and participating in discussions on platforms like LinkedIn. Emphasize that staying updated is not just about compliance, it's about leveraging knowledge to provide strategic advice to clients. This shows that you are not only committed to your professional growth, but also understand the value of being well informed in a rapidly changing environment. Finally, let's touch upon the importance of ethical considerations in taxation. A possible question could be, how do ethical considerations play a role in tax planning? In your response, start by acknowledging that while tax planning is essential for minimizing tax liability, it must be conducted within the framework of the law. Discuss the importance of adhering to the principles of transparency, fairness, and integrity in all tax-related matters. You can also mention the role of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, ICAI, in promoting ethical standards among professionals. Highlight that as a CA, your responsibility goes beyond compliance. It includes advising clients on the ethical implications of their tax strategies. This response not only showcases your technical knowledge, but also reflects your commitment to ethical practices in the profession. As you prepare for your interviews, remember that the key to success lies in not just knowing the answers, but also in how you communicate your thoughts. Practice articulating your responses clearly and confidently. Use real world examples where possible to illustrate your points. And don't hesitate to ask clarifying questions if you need more information during an interview. Approach each question as an opportunity to showcase your knowledge, problem-solving skills, and ethical considerations. The goal is not just to answer questions, but to engage in a meaningful dialogue that reflects your understanding of the complexities of taxation in India and internationally. As you embark on this exciting phase of your career, remember that every interview is a stepping stone toward your professional growth. Embrace the challenges, stay curious, and continue learning. Your journey as a CA is just beginning, and with the right preparation, you will undoubtedly make a significant impact in the field of finance and taxation. Good luck. Thank you for watching part 2 of the Direct Tax interview series. We have also created other technical interview questions, mostly focused on our finance profession. We encourage you to go through those videos as well, the links for which we have added in our description. Subscribe Finance Kida channel for more content like this.